Roger and the Rottentrolls, sometimes called the Rottentrolls, is a children's comedy television series made for ITV by the Children's Company, which combined puppets with live-action human actors. It was first broadcast on 13 September 1996, and ended on 25 February 2000. Written by Tim Firth. It was based on characters created by Gordon Firth, always referred to as his dad in the credits. Directed by Julian Kemp and executive produced by Robert Howes. The first series won the 1997 BAFTA for Best Children's Entertainment Show, beating the Ant and Dec Show. Later series were nominated for awards from both BAFTA and the Royal Television Society. History. Roger and the Rottentrolls started life as a book and audio tape. Written by Tim Firth and commissioned by Emmy and W. H. Smith and produced by Robert Howes and the Children's Company. Intended as a spooky story for children, part of a series of over 30 titles. Tim's dad, Gordon, who had originally invented the characters, drew the designs for all the characters from which the puppets were made. The pilot for the television series was filmed in and around old lead mines in the Yorkshire Dales by multi-award-winning documentary director, cameraman Paul Berriff. As a gesture of support for the project, the television series was filmed at Brimham Rocks near Harrogate, Yorkshire. There were two spin-off series. A half-hour special for the BBC named Combat Sheep, based around Commander Harris, and a series for pre-school children, ITV, called Ripley and Scuff. Plot. The series followed the adventures of Roger Beckett, aged 10 3/4, in Trollers Gill, where the rocks are all slightly mad. As king of the Rottentrolls, he was crowned king of the Rottentrolls after crashing his bike in the valley. As well as ruling over the Rottentrolls, Roger teaches them about things like sport and politics, and, in return, learns a few lessons himself. Actors and narrator. There were 3 humans on screen in the series. Narrator, voiced by Martin Clunes, who told the story and, at times, interacted with the actors and the audience. He has been known to panic in crisis situations. He has some talent for Jim Jam Yaha, which he used to get Roger's attention. Roger Beckett, the Roger of the title, played by Nick Barber. He became king of the Rottentrolls when he accidentally crashed in the valley and screamed, "Roger was there," the name of the mythical leader of the Rottentroll. He regularly attempted to teach the Rottentrolls new things. In Series 3 and 4, his presence is reduced as high school takes up more of his time. So Kate handles day-to-day business herself. Roger, of the characters trying to learn, shows the least talent for Jim Jam Jaha, as he is only able to dislodge a tin can from 3 yards. Kate Beckett, also known as Princess Kate, Roger's little stepsister, played by Holly Granger. She follows Roger to the valley and becomes princess, taking over day-to-day running of the valley from the now overworked Roger. Though in some rare situations she does pass the buck on to Roger as the higher authority. She has a natural talent for Jim Jam Jaha. The Rottentrolls. The Rottentrolls are a group of strange, knee-high creatures who have been waiting for the return of their king for centuries. 1,000 years ago, their ancestors were accidentally brought by a snow cloud summoned by Merlin, who was attempting to turn the valley into a ski resort for King Arthur. They found the name of Roger Wassair carved into a rock, and interpreted it as the name of their king. When young Roger entered the valley and shouted, "Roger was heir," single quote, the current Rottentrolls crown him their king. The Rottentrolls include Jochen Thwaite, a lovable and daft Rottentroll who is always getting things wrong, often called a Burke by others. His catchphrase is, "Yo-oh." Quote, He is credited throughout the series as the stupidest of the Rottentrolls. His favorite song, which he sang in the Rottentroll of the Year competition, is 10,000 in the Bed. It is often Julian Kemp who sets the plot of the episodes in motion through his blundering. Yet, in some instances, he also manages to rectify the situation, either through chance or his above-average proficiency at map reading. Commander Harris loses it. Julian Kemp is a slow reader and not very good with numbers, but he is excellent at map reading. Asgarth, the oldest and wisest of the Rottentrolls. He likes to think of himself as a leader. Following the Rottentroll Revolution, he becomes official leader in King Roger's absence. He is an accomplished artist, proficient at drawing landscapes and scenic portraits. But he doesn't approve of the more obscure forms of modern art. Despite his age and maturity, he has proved to be gullible, as when being hoodwinked by Black Sykes' story of the almighty underwater chicken, and also competitive, as when taking part in art competitions and roulette gambling. Penegent is an artistic and creative female Rottentroll, with an impressive talent for football, generally considered the cleverest of the Rottentrolls. In the episode Rottentroll of the Year, Penegent is the organizer of the titular competition and is crowned champion for her efforts. Kettlewell, a bad cook who often has a sudden desire to deck people, hence I'll deck ya. Quote, she has muscles the size of potatoes, and her special dish is the garlic pasty, much to the chagrin of the other Rottentrolls. Asgrig, a completely sports-obsessed Rottentroll. He attempts every sport imaginable, without any teammates. According to the Rottentroll files, Asgrig is revealed to have no brain, leaving him clueless on words such as athletic and tomorrow. Black Syke, the scariest and most mysterious Rottentroll, complete with her spiky umbrella and her cat. Her catchphrase is a pronounced cackle cackle cackle. Ironically, Black Syke is a masterful practitioner of Jim Jam Jaha without knowing it, as she uttered the name of the practice in disgust. The bookshelf she was standing in front of collapsed on top of her. She is also responsible for instigating the Troller's guilt crime wave and for beginning the movement of the almighty underwater chicken. Trucklecrag, a failed wizard, prone to creating dustbins, toasters, and mackerel. On one occasion, during the Rottentroll of the Year competition, he tried a complex spell on Penegent that would lift her into the air, where, while floating on her back, she would gently spin anti-clockwise like a dervish. In practice, the spell simply turned her into a pizza. In spite of these failures and setbacks, he is sometimes the one approached for help. The Nab twins, a pair of teenage Rottentrolls who speak in slang terms which are now slightly dated, such as radical, spurious, and wicked. They are also the members of a rock band called Cattlegrid. Little Strid, Kettlewell's daughter, the youngest Rottentroll, Sixworthy Craggs, a failed inventor, who is completely mad. He often trails when speaking and starts making dog noises, the latter of which, he claims, helps to relieve stress. Used to be an estate agent prior to the death of his wife and loss of his children, the trauma of which sent him mad. Since then, his greatest ambition is to be the furthest traveled of all Rottentrolls, to which end he attempted to build an airship and later a rocket. 4 attempts were made to build a rocket, all but the third, upon which Sigsworthy forgot to embark, were met with failure. On the 4th attempt, he crashed underground and awoke to the sound of drumming on his rocket. Looking for the source of the noise, he realized that he was reunited with his sons, Ripley and Scuff, a pair of young Rottentrolls, sons of Sigsworthy Craggs. They appear in Series 4, and in their own spin-off series, Ripley and Scuff. They seem to have inherited their father's mental instability, or at least his tendency to make dog noises. They also communicate through making drumming noises. Their names are all taken from places in Yorkshire. Tim Firth said about how he named the Rottentrolls, "I put a compass in the OS map of the area, centered on Troller's Gill, and drew a circle of about 5 centimeters radius. I then harvested the strangest sounding villages and geographical features. These then seem to suggest, bizarrely, the colors of various mad characters. Your Kent would clearly be an idiot because it had a K in it. Sixworthy Craggs would clearly be off his trolley, but older. Penagent would be female, and so on. I wish every assembly of characters was that easy." Quote, "The voices of the Rottentrolls were provided, in the first series, by John Thompson, Phil Cornwell and Rebecca Front. In later series, Ronnie Ancona replaced Rebecca Front. Other creatures. The Bug West is a menacing creature that lives in the valley and terrifies the Rottentrolls. Commander Harris is a sheep who used to be an army mascot. He always has a tale from his old army days to tell. He too lives in the valley. Commander Harris is an expert on the ancient art of Jim Jam Yaha, and is regularly involved in Roger's adventures episodes. There were 4 series of Roger and the Rottentrolls and 36 episodes. The Rottentroll Files, a special documentary episode, was also made and was released on DVD. On the first volume of the second series, VHS and DVD releases. The first series of Roger and the Rottentrolls was released on VHS as Roger and the Rottentrolls, a complete set of adventures, in 1998. The second series was released in 2 parts, Combat Without Contact, which also featured the special episode The Rottentroll Files, and State of Emergency, both of which were released on both VHS and DVD. Official Rottentrolls website includes video and audio clips. Roger and the Rottentrolls on IMDb. Martin Clunes on IMDb. Holly Granger on IMDb. Nick Barber on IMDb. Tim Firth on IMDb. Tim Firth's website. Julian Kemp on IMDb. The Children's Company website. Website of Simon Buckey, puppet coordinator. BAFTA Children's Award winners 1996 to 2005.